Game number 3 between DR Esports and CHAKAIMOOK. Again, I was not expecting to say those words that we're getting into game number 3. And as our fellow caster Maximin likes to say, content. And we're getting ready for this one, Infinity. We're getting ready for more content. The Aurelion Soul has been banned. The Lulu has been banned. We're starting off with an Akali and a Wukong, followed off with a Lee Sin, Misfortune, and the Brawl here. Infinity, you live? Infinity might not be live.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm muted. Alright, another mistake. But yeah, you just keep on forgetting. But although DR Esports is actually hovering onto the virus, at this point in time, I actually don't know. But let's actually talk about the locked-in champions. We have the Akali, we have the Wukong on the side of DR Esports. A good initiator coming in for their team is the Wukong, and you have the Assassin Akali for their team. And for CHAKAIMOOK, we have the Lee Sin, Misfortune, and the Brawl. We keep on talking about this one since earlier. The Misfortune and the Brawl are two synergical champions that are really strong, especially on the ADC lane. When you're up against a Draven, there is the Brawl to shield it all off. So I think at this point in time, it's actually pretty interesting. Both drafts are contrasting with each other.
I keep going back to the draft of game number 2 because
Yeah.
DR Esports' draft was so off the wall that CHAKAIMOOK was able to counter it without picking a bunch of super meta heroes, right? They were able to counter it with Draven and Shyvana, right? Amongst, 3 other very contested heroes like Olaf and Lulu and Gragas, of course. But they've left themselves with this lineup. I mean, Lee Sin, Misfortune, Brawl, and Camille are 4 of the most contested champions at their roles in the game. And somehow game 3, in an all-round ban pick, they've managed to secure them. I gotta say, this is dangerous for DR. DR was, I would say, a pretty significant favorite coming into this. And I think CHAKAIMOOK won this draft.
And Twisted Fate coming through for CHAKAIMOOK. So, something and a champion that was only picked 5 times throughout the tournament, right, has been showing up once more for the side of CHAKAIMOOK. And I mean, the champion pool at this moment is really small, considering that we're up for 3 games. But that Twisted Fate brings up something more. I think the strength of Twisted Fate is to really react actively for your team. If a fight occurs, TP, teleports. And also, to add on to that, that actually gives you information for your team on where the enemy team would be. So I think it would be crucial when it comes to those key moments wherein the Baron buff is being taken, wherein the Dragon is being taken that you don't know of, would really put into play.
Yeah, Twisted Fate obviously being the odd one out here as far as meta picks on the side of CHAKAIMOOK, but Twisted Fate did get buffed in the last patch. If you guys don't know about his buff, his second ability, pick a card, has been buffed. He gets more mana when he uses the blue card. He gets more damage whether they use the blue or red card, and then his stun is 0.25 seconds longer on the gold card throughout the game. So that's a pretty sizable deal there. Obviously, I mean, I don't play Twisted Fate a whole lot, but I assume you go for the gold card the most, and it's a pretty sizable stun buff there. I'm looking at this draft, and I feel like Gospel was the story of the game in both games 1 and 2. Even though DR Esports lost game number 2, his Corki was starting to get ramped up pretty high. He was the SVP of that game. So I feel like a lot of this game comes down to how much can Gospel put on his shoulders as the Draven here. How much can he hold? It's going to be pretty heavy.
Welcome to Wild Rift.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, early game, DR Esports going in for that Draven, but I think it just balances it out with the Orianna to top it all off when it comes to the late game, right? You have the initiations coming in from the Shockwave, you also have the constant amount of damage, and also 2 assassins. But D2, what I'm seeing right now is a very squishy draft coming in for DR Esports.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Obviously, the side lane typically involves a brawler, but they're going for the more assassin situation in Akali there. Wukong isn't the beefiest front line as far as jungler is concerned. The Janna, neither is she. Obviously, she's just kind of there for the extra shields. But Janna, she can kind of help deal with those beef issues. Provides a nice sizable shield for anyone who's trying to engage. So lots going to be on rocks as well on that Janna to try to keep her team alive.
And Akali versus the Camille, I think the Akali wouldn't really be that great, especially into the early game. I think in mid game, late game, sure, Akali would deal much more damage, has more back away safety for himself, but overall,
Edaf goes down. I think Edaf might have had connection issues because Edaf was standing still for quite a while. I was wondering if he was just kind of staying away from the lane just to be safe, but it looks like Edaf is okay, at least coming back from that lane. As far as his bottom lane is concerned, Gospel and Rox are doing an excellent job pushing out CKM. How often do you see a misfortune to get bullied out of a lane, especially with a Braum supporting her? So obviously Gospel is doing an absolutely amazing job, but we potentially have a gank coming up here. Shiva's going to try to go on his Akali. He does land it, but there's going to be a flash coming out from Akali to keep herself safe. That does leave the turret exposed, but she does get out with her life.
And to answer your question on why Misfortune is being forced out of his lane, because that's Draven, right? The first few levels wherein the ultimate is not available for that Misfortune, the scaling potential is not available as well. Draven is really gonna put out a lot of damage against heroes and champions alike. That is actually battling with the Raven. So yeah, I think that would be the potential reason on why that happened, or maybe some macro plays that were mistaken by the side of CMK on that initial fight.
Yeah, despite the fact that Gospel is doing an extremely good job in this bottom lane, though, the fact that Akali got bullied out of her lane and they lost an entire wave, they also lost Orianna earlier, obviously. That means that we've opened up actually a 1,000 plus gold lead here for CHAKAIMOOK, and CHAKAIMOOK looking pretty nice, looking like they have an opportunity here to pull off the upset. Obviously, they were the number 2 team out of their group, going off against the overwhelming number team out of DR's group. So CHAKAIMOOK really making it happen here in this game number 3.
So right now, let's actually check onto the items at the moment. We have, I think, the penetration immediately. I think that's the Yumus. Ghostblade for the Lee Sin, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for its first initial item. Then the rest of the members is probably just going in for those standard draft. But TF is going for TP.
Oh my goodness, the massive bullet time is able to secure one of the kills, and the other one is secured as well by the 4-man gank here into the bottom lane. CHAKAIMOOK is absolutely taking it to DR, using that early gold advantage, not even waiting for the dragon to come up. They're like, we're going to just take this right here, right now. And this is looking so good for CHAKAIMOOK because they've turned the gold lead in the other lanes over and made it so they have a gold lead in this bottom lane as well. It's not just the 1k overall, it's now 1k in every single lane here.
Yeah, and look at that, the Lee Sin went in for the kick onto that Janna, forced away the flash, and with that the Janna wouldn't have that escape route any longer, especially with the TF going in for that TP, going in for the stun against the enemy team. There's no more escape route.
It looks like we have deja vu here in the exact same area. Draven does go down to the Misfortune, and CHAKAIMOOK are making it happen once again. They're going to go ahead and take this dragon as well, and directly in the vision of DR, but they do not care. Now, we should mention that while we were watching the replay earlier, 1 kill did go over to DR, but in the grand scheme of things, it still looks like CHAKAIMOOK have full control of this game.
That's 2k gold D, right? The Mountain Drake is going to their side as well, so basically just a lot of damage overall. But the first items are now being secured by the ADC. BRK for the Misfortune. I think BRK is also gonna be the first item by the Draven to just go for that sustainability and the passive for that item as well.
Looks like we're having a little bit of a switcheroo here. as the dual lane from the dragon goes over the top. Since the dragon has already been taken, Camille switches over to the bottom. Let's see how DR reacts to it, if they're going to go ahead and match themselves. In fact, actually, all 5 members are in this top lane, perhaps preparing for this Rift Herald, or perhaps preparing for a potential gank, because we do see 3 members of CHAKAIMOOK going over into this lane. And oh my goodness, Draven gets absolutely bopped over the head, dies right under the turret with no minions even available. CHAKAIMOOK extremely decisive, but don't count out DR quite yet, because they are decisive. They're going to try to take this turret, but going to get away before they get in any sort of trouble. Okay, the ultimate actually popped. There's a big ult coming out as well there from the Orianna. So double ult used, no kills though, so it looked impressive. Might not have been the best decision there from DR though.
Yeah. I think the TF right now is just really active when it comes to the map awareness. He knows where he would go, he knows what the timing would be, and you stated a while ago that the stun of the yellow card from Twisted Fate was actually buffed up to 2.5 seconds, if I wasn't mistaken in hearing
0.25
what you
seconds,
stated a while ago. And that 2.5 seconds is a matter of life and death. For that long of a stun, that's actually kind of big.
Yeah, he has been proving to be really good, especially in this gank. Anywhere he's on the map, Twisted Fate is able to just teleport over using that ult and really provide an extra presence in order to finish off those kills, or even set up them up in the first place. He is in a little bit of trouble at the moment though. Pretty good clear means that he's able to get rid of some of these, but Draven doing a ton of damage. And here comes the gank from the backside. Wukong finishing off that kill, bringing the kill count a little bit closer here. Meanwhile, while that's happening though, CKM is pushing in that bottom lane, releasing the Riptail, going to be pushing into this bottom tower. They've already taken out one. Can they get a second? Wukong and Co from DR are going to be matching them. Are they going to be able to push them away? Riptail takes it down extremely low, only 490, 330, 290. It's going to be left over before it gets taken out. We actually might have a skirmish for the moment here. Looks like they're going to back off.
I mean, Draven wasn't in that fight, wasn't in that formation, but also the Twisted Fate was too long for CKM to just really go for that initiation, so that was actually kind of smart.
Oh, shit, goodness. Okay, so Akali tried to get an engage on there, but didn't actually work out for her in the end. Ult gets popped by Twisted Fate. I guess it's just for the vision, just to see if there's anyone sort of kind of coming around for a gank potentially. So, with that vision, they're able to kind of retreat back to their sides. 5k gold lead here for the side of CHAKAIMOOK. They're continuing to hold that lead. So, DR for the last couple of minutes have been holding on strong.
I think right now it's a lot of advantage from CKM. It's not just about gold, but also in terms of objectives. 0 turrets taken down by DR Esports, while the side of CKM already has 2 turrets, and on top of all that, you also have the bottom lane, wherein there's like 1 HP remaining, the 100 HP remaining for that turret alone. So it's kind of like 3 turrets taken down anyways. But regardless, right now it's CKM going in for that initiation onto that Ocean Drake is going to put them in a very good spot with that Omnibound.
Yeah, they get the Ocean Drake, and they're going to be looking to take a fight here because Akali is over in the top lane. You can see that on your mini-map right there. She does take down a turret in exchange for that dragon. So DR doing what they can. Obviously DR doesn't really want to take any sort of bad team fight, but they're getting advantages wherever they can, taking down turrets, taking, just pushing in whenever CKM is not available. One thing that's kind of going okay for Hux, the fact that they have Janna helps them a little bit because she can actually shield turrets. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't play supports in the chat. They're they're usually the carry on the team, right? They don't want to play support, but Janna can actually shield turret, so that might help DR come back here.
Yeah, so it's just a safe play right now for DR Esports. I think it's going to be necessary. They don't want to give more kills to CKM because they already are at 5k gold disadvantage with 2 dragons at a disadvantage as well for their team. So getting more kills to the side of CKM would open up objectives for their team as well. And to top it all off, there's also an Infernal Drake for the 3rd dragon. So it's going to be very important to try and catch up onto that gold disadvantage gold lacking for the R Esports in this fight, if they could actually possibly could.
Yeah, CHAKAIMOOK holding on to a reasonable lead, right? They're not giving it away, but at the same time, DR are holding strong. Right? It's not 5k gold disadvantage, a couple of dragons. They're within arm's reach. They're not out of this game quite yet. We'll have to see how these next 2 fights go, though, as we have a bit of a invade here. Looks like CHAKAIMOOK getting a little bit impatient. I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it. However, there's going to be a push here onto the ult, goes onto the Draven. It gets extremely low. Lisa's going to be jumping in there, but there's the ult coming out from the Janet to keep everyone that way. That allows for the turret to go down, though. Honeyfruit pops as well, just to make sure that doesn't go over to DR. Meanwhile, we have Camille here at the top lane, trying to push as much as humanly possible while their team was away. She was actually going to be joining. This is going to be a 5-man rotation from DR. Very risky here. Are they going to be pushing onto them? Janna actually by herself trying to corner the Lee Sin, but Lee Sin is a bit too fast. And that 5-man rotation does not help out DR as they're getting pushed in on these other towers now.
Yeah, CKM was just, let's split push into the top lane, and to top all off, let's split push into the bottom lane, and also in the mid lane, let's split push every single lane available against the enemy team.
Yeah, but that means that Lee Sin might be in trouble here. Can Wukong take him down? The ult is used to kick him away, quite literally. So Lee Sin saves his GA, and we've seen before GAs can be absolutely huge in these team fights. You don't want to pop them willy-nilly. This is just humorous. The CKM is just doing the runaround, doing the roundabout here on DR, getting a little bit of damage on the turrets and running away. And DR can't really catch anyone because they can't match even numbers. They have to match, or they have to use more numbers than their opponents in order to take anyone down.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really expecting this to happen, but you know what? It happens, right? The humorous plays, the unique plays coming in from any of these teams are meant to happen nevertheless. But I think right now, CKM with the reset actually very smart. If they go for a clash, it's gonna put them at an advantage against Team DR Esports at this moment in time, because they have a lot of gold coming in from that turrets in the bottom lane. They have a lot of gold coming in from the minion waves, and also the kills that came through a while ago. So DR Esports right now should be worried on where the enemy team would be and took a safe route to try and disrupt CKM.
Yeah, so we have an 8k gold lead here for CKM, but the more that time passes, the more the ratio that they're ahead in gold gets smaller and smaller. So they're trying to make something happen before DR essentially catch up in gold. Once it gets high enough, for example, 95k gold versus 100k gold is even, right? There's no difference there because everyone has their full builds. But CKM, they're trying to make something happen while they have an actual substantial gold lead rather than just being worthless here. That's why they're pushing in, trying to be aggressive. They do pick up yet another dragon. They picked up an Infernal. That's going to be helpful for them for sure. But DR, they're just biding their time. You saw Producer Dave. He was showing the items on the Orianna nearly at her third item there. Already has the Seraph's Embrace. Already has, one of the other items, the Leandri's Torment to help her out there. So she's nearly on her way to getting a nice bit of damage going. But while it's happened, actually just 2 members sneak up on this turret, nearly getting hit by the turret. Lee Sin's going to be in a bit of trouble. He might get his GA popped. In fact, he does get away in the end. Actually, so they're doing this without the bear. What is happening? Infinity, why is this happening?
Just split pushing at this point because they have the mountain shield. Mountain Drake that gives them shield. You have the Ocean Drake as well. That both dragon buffs gives you sustainability. Are we back?
Looks like we're back.
Yeah. Yeah,
you can call it Mountain Shield, by the way. I'm all on board with calling it Mountain Shield. Who needs extra words? Who needs extra words? Just say Mountain Shield. It's fine.
Absolutely. But yeah, going back, I think they're understanding that the Esports doesn't really have the sustainability people that could really go for the front lines. So they could basically just split push, try to go for ganks, try to go for plays, and the only one that initiates a fight would be that Janna with the Tornado, which has a delay, that Orianna, and even that Wukong. But the problem is, it's like split push in the bottom lane, mid lane, and top lane. If Orianna uses the ult in a single lane, and even a Wukong as well, if they go all in, there is still other lanes that they could potentially go for, and they couldn't defend for because there is no more initiations coming through.
Oh my goodness, Akali got a little bit out of line there, tried to go in for the hero kill, but gets taken out instead. Twisted Fate holding on strong. The ult comes out here from Braum, but completely misses. He had to use his flash for that play as well. So this is getting dicey for both teams. Both teams kind of, feeling the pressure at the moment. CHAKAIMOOK realizing that they can finish off this upset. DR trying to hold on for dear life. And like you mentioned, the split pushing before, I don't know if it's just amazing split pushing from CKM or if it's, DR just kind of panicking in the moment and falling apart and letting too many minions get through. But this has been absolutely insane. Not a whole lot of oh, wow, that's a lot of damage. Okay, not a whole lot of fights, but it's been an actual gold extension from CKM. But hold that thought for a moment. The Baron is finally getting aggressive upon, and it looks like both teams are going to go ahead and back off. Like I was mentioning before, so for 5 minutes, there was only one dragon available. There was nothing available the entire time, and yet the gold lead went from 5k to 12k. And like I don't even know how that happened. CKM just continued to push in and got more gold. But looks like Sam's the Baron. They're gonna continue to push it. How are they getting turrets without even having the Baron? The inhibitor's nearly down. It does go down in the end. DR letting CKM walk all over them. Braum says, "You can't come near me. I have a big shield. Thank you very much. Go away now, please." Actually has to pop the ult to make sure that they can secure the escape. You see Camille rotating around the side, and they're gonna get away. CKM, they take another inhibitor turret for free. They're like, "We'll see you later. We'll see you later, DR."
Yeah. DR Esports at this moment in time has to pay the price for not getting those frontliners, for not getting a sustainable initiator for their team, and even getting the Draven as well. As Draven, as you look at it, 0-3-1. No kills has been done. How can a Draven scale without getting those farms up and running? How can he scale without getting those kills up and running as well? And if you compare it with an Orianna is already at 13k gold, even higher than the ADC. So it's really just understandable of a draft as CKM punished DR Esports a while ago in the early game by a landslide.
Yeah, Twisted Fate might be in a little bit of trouble here. Actually gets aggressive upon, uses the ult just to be able to get away. That is a huge deal because now the Elder Cloud Dragon goes over to CKM, and you can see the movement speed. Look how fast they are race cars zooming all around the track. They're going to be trying to engage onto them. Yeah, Kali tries to punish them for their impotence, and it goes onto them. But that means that Draven is potentially in trouble. Gets taken out by the Camille solo. DR is falling apart before our eyes, Infinity. It looks like we're finally going to be going for the Baron, and this just has to be it. Unless there's a stealer, this is going to be it, Infinity.
This might probably be it indeed, as Baron is going to be taken. It's also a while ago, the Elder Drake. So extra minion buffs, extra damage, extra burn potential from the side of CKM.
Oh my goodness. Twisted Fate just looked at the tower and it demolished. They're trying to go for more things. Kali's gonna extremely low. She can't even get away. The chat has already fallen. This is gonna be CKM providing the upset of the tournament. They finish off DR Esports and win, completing the comeback 2-1. CHAKAIMOOK are your winners.